Good morning, student. Your mission for today is to identify undercover instructional verbs. Be careful. This could get dangerous. There are 10 instructional verbs you are aware of. Let's review. Analyze, argue, compare, contrast, convince, criticize, define, describe, evaluate, explain. The problem is, some of them look a lot alike. Let's look at some of the imposters. Analyze versus criticize. Analyze, to break down into parts to discover relationships or ideas. The imposter, criticize, to give approval or disapproval on something. The song talks about a girl 3 different times. The first time, she leaves him at the dance. The second time, she shows up late for their date. The third time, she isn't there for him when he needs her. It looks like she doesn't like him. Is this analyzing or criticizing song lyrics? If you said analyze, you would be correct. You see, this response is actually breaking down the parts of the song and analyzing it. It is not going over whether or not it works or doesn't work, whether it's good or bad. Here's an example of criticizing. The song talks about his girlfriend too much. It makes it sad and boring. The music makes up for it, though. It has a good beat and a good rhythm. That really works. When you give an opinion on whether or not something works or doesn't work, that is criticizing. Describe means to sketch an image with words. The imposter, define, to give the meaning of a word, phrase, or idea. One is a dictionary definition. The other is describing what you see with your eyes. So what is this? A table is a piece of furniture with 1 or more legs and a flat top on which objects can be placed. It is often used for eating, writing, working, or playing games. Which is it? If you said define, you would be correct. That was literally the dictionary definition for what a table is. The brown table is made out of smooth pine and has quite a few scratches and dings on the top. But that just makes it look more rustic. It's often covered with delicious food. In this example, I am literally describing what I see and what the table physically looks like, not what a table is or what a table does. The next 2 imposters, compare versus contrast. Compare means to note the similarities. Contrast means to note the differences. Let's look at an example. Which is this, comparing or contrasting? The iPhone 8 is around $800. The Android is $150. The iPhone 8 has cordless charging. On the other hand, you need a cord to charge the Android. Which is it? If you said contrast, you would be correct. Here's an example of what compare is. The iPhone 8 and the Android both come with a 7-inch screen and are water resistant. They also both come with a rechargeable battery that will last up to 10 hours. Argue versus convince. Argue means to clearly show your position on an issue. Convince is to sway someone to your way of thinking. Argue or convince? Okay, these 2 look pretty much the same. But remember, arguing is trying to prove you're right. Convincing is trying to get someone to think like you do. Evaluate versus explain. Evaluate, to give an informed judgment or opinion on an issue. Explain, to make a point clear for the reader, used with why, how, or what. Is this evaluate or explain? As a football player myself, I can say the football team at school did a great job at the game yesterday. The offense was determined. The defense was strong. The quarterback threw over 12 great passes. This would be evaluate, because I gave a value or opinion on how they did. All right, 00 student, let's put your skills to the test. The following response is an example of what instructional skill? A squirrel is a fast, tree-dwelling rodent with a large, bushy tail. They usually feed on nuts, seeds, and grains. Which is it? That would be describing what a squirrel looks like, painting a picture with words. Which instructional verb is this next example? Squirrels have large, bushy tails, while chipmunks have small tails. Chipmunks have great big cheeks. Squirrels do not. That would be an example of contrast, showing the differences between two objects. How about this next one? Squirrels make the very best pets. They are loyal, hardworking, and unique. Everyone should have a squirrel for a pet. Which instructional verb is this? That would be convince. I'm trying to sway you to think like I do, that squirrels would make great pets, which they would not. Don't do that. This example. A squirrel's tail is large and bushy, perfect for helping it stay balanced on thin branches. Its teeth are small and sharp, so it can open hard shells. That would be an example of analyze. I was breaking the squirrel into parts, talking about each part individually. This next example. I'm talking about squirrels a lot to show you how different instructional verbs work while talking about the same topic. Which instructional verb is this example? Explain, because I was explaining why I was talking about squirrels so much, which you were probably wondering.
Created using Powtoon.